Let's talk about that a little more because I've seen on people, running errands in those shoes, people running recreationally in those shoes. But why did they see this opportunity to make a tennis shoe?
Yeah, for sure. So, their ethos has always been performance first from this very start. It was we're going to make the very best running shoe possible. And initially, when they're a private company, especially, they were selling directly to avid runners, either professional runners or people who are running 100 miles a week for fun. Some people think that's fun, Brittany. I don't know, not me.
I'm
But
running
in
a
the case
marathon, so
of
I kind of think it's fun.
okay, sure. So where their sales really took off and where they really grew as a company is when these elite performance running shoes started being adopted by people to do everyday things, and that was kind of like a trend that they didn't. I guess they weren't the only ones responsible for it. It was kind of happening anyways, but they were certainly a big part of it. And one of the sources I talked to for this story was like, yeah, I went to Disneyland and everyone at Disneyland is wearing on running shoes. None of these people are running marathons, but everyone is wearing on. So that's really how the company, in my opinion, went to the next level. And they saw a similar opportunity in tennis. I mean, if you think about, I think of like the Stan Smith Adidas shoes, or Reebok has, Club C shoes. Those used to be tennis shoes that are now just worn for lifestyle. Really, the Lacoste brand, that's the entire story of their company, right? They were founded by a legendary tennis player, and now they have some tennis stuff, but really, realistically, that's just a lifestyle company. So the On folks saw that tennis had this same opportunity for elite performance, carrying over into lifestyle, carrying over into the much bigger market, and I think that's why they went after tennis. That plus, once they signed up Roger Federer, the greatest or one of the greatest tennis players of all time, that certainly gives them another leg into the industry. So
Federer's wearing the shoe as of now. Swiatek is not. What are people in the industry saying? Is this a good tennis shoe as of now?
well, I can speak for I play some tennis out here, and maybe my friends talk about gear and equipment all the time, and some of the people that have tried the shoe don't really love it. But I found it very interesting that I talked to this one expert, this guy who's a foot doctor who was also an avid tennis player, and he was saying that the reasons why it was such a perfect shoe for Roger Federer are probably the reasons why we, average recreational players don't love it, and maybe why Swiatek doesn't love it too. Because anyone who remembers watching Roger Federer play knows that he just kind of gracefully just glided across the court. I mean, it was almost like he was never sweating. He certainly was never sliding. He just kind of like appeared wherever the ball was. That's not how we, play recreationally. And even in the case of Swiatek, who's a great mover, she slides into every single shot. So that again requires a very different kind of shoe than what Roger Federer used. So, and On admits this, they made that shoe specifically for Roger Federer for him to make, and then they just decided to put it out because it's a signature shoe, and Roger Federer's a big name and they certainly weren't expecting him to deal with the health issues and retire in 2022. Thought maybe he had a few more years. So this particular shoe, I think it works very well for a certain kind of player, who's not someone that's sliding around a lot. And it also works very well for someone who has many pairs to replace it because it wears out very quickly. I know that both anecdotally from people I know, and then also, again, the expert I talked to said that you wear the shoe 3-4 times and it really wears down. It has a very flat tread, so most of the shoe is touching the ground at all times, which means it gives you great grip and great feel on the court. But after 3 uses, if it's worn out and you don't have an infinite supply of shoes like Roger Federer has, that $200 pair of shoes may not be worth it for casual players.